So the New Orleans Pelicans have defeated the San Antonio Spurs 113-103. Great effort from each team, especially from the Spurs. They tried fighting all the way down to the end, but couldn't really get it done, and the Pelicans emerged victorious. So great game overall. Brandon Ingram, CJ McCollum doing most of the damage, but also their role players actually playing pretty well today. Even off the bench, Jose Alvarado played pretty well, and Larry Nance Jr. So we're going to go over the game, talking about the box score, and talking about the Pelicans, because after winning this, they are going to be versing the LA Clippers on Friday, actually. Yeah, they're going to be versing the Clippers on Friday. That's going to be a pretty interesting series. Paul George versus the New Orleans Pelicans. I'm going to see how that goes. Hopefully the Pelicans can win. I think they're going to be a dark horse team in the playoffs if they do make it. So what's up? I'm JDC. If you like video, drop a like down below, subscribe to the channel. I'd appreciate it. And let's get into the video. So yeah, the Pelicans, we'll start it off with definitely their best player today. CJ McCollum, obviously 32 points, 7 assists, and 6 rebounds, with the 1 steal on 12 of 23 from the field and 3 of 5 from 3. Man, CJ McCollum, whenever he's hot like this from the field, there's no way any team can stop him. And with the Spurs having Dejounte Murray, who's one of the better defensive guards in the league, he couldn't really do anything against CJ McCollum, man. He was absolutely amazing on offense, and all around too, the game he played pretty well, affecting assists and rebounds too. So great game from CJ. Brandon Ingram with 27 points, 5 assists and 5 rebounds on 11 of 19 from the field and 0 of 2 from 3. Very efficient game. Brandon Ingram and CJ McCollum, I didn't expect this duo to be as good as they are right now, because this scoring output from this duo is going to be scary, and especially against the Clippers that only have Paul George. I want to see how that game goes, because I think it's going to be a very interesting game to see if Brandon Ingram versus obviously Paul George, but then who's going to be guarding CJ McCollum. That's going to be the biggest question, is that if the Clippers can contain CJ McCollum and even their other role players who I haven't even talked about yet. So next, Herb Jones, 12 points, 5 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 steals, 2 blocks, stuffing the stat sheet first of all, and went 5 of 7 from the field and 2 of 4 from 3. Herb Jones, man, he's been proving himself this season, and he was a second-round pick in this year's draft. This year's draft. 23 years old. He straight came out of nowhere, and he's been surprising me as a player, because the amount of offense and defense this guy provides to the Pelicans is definitely surprising to me. I see him as kind of a better Jae'Sean Tate of the Houston Rockets, and this guy, Herb Jones, has a better three-point shot than Jae'Sean Tate, which is what we wanted to see from him. So Herb Jones, he's definitely going to be a great player in the future, and moving forward, they really do need to keep Herb Jones on this team. So next, we got Jonas Valanciunas, 22 points, 14 rebounds, and 3 assists with 1 steal and 2 blocks. Jonas, a huge pickup for this team. Very great on offense, and grabbing 14 rebounds, being that interior presence that they needed. Overall, he definitely babied Jakob Poeltl today, who had 16 points and 9 rebounds, but Jakob blocked him on one play. It was a nasty block, but Jonas, he played pretty well today, 9 of 14 from the field. The thing about the Pelicans is that all their players are actually very underrated. Jonas Valanciunas being one of the more underrated centers in the league. Brandon Ingram doesn't get talked about enough. Herb Jones, too. And even CJ McCollum, still very underrated, too, in this league. So not too many other things to talk about on the Pelican side of things. I mean, Jose Alvarado off the bench, 12 points and 4 assists with 1 steal and 1 rebound. Played 22 minutes. He's going to be a stud in this league off the bench too, if he can become that 6-man type of role. The one downside to this game is that I would have liked to see Devontae Graham play a little bit more, because he has the ability to obviously shoot the ball, but I think he can run the offense a little bit. Nothing too amazing like Jose Alvarado, but he could be a decent player for them off the bench that could give them some good buckets, some good minutes, and just go into the game and get him some good shots. And if he's hot, keep him in the game, or if he's cold from the field, you can just sub him out. So looking at the Spurs side of things, it was a really off night from Keldon Johnson and Dejounte Murray. I'll go over both of them very briefly. Dejounte Murray with 16 points, 9 rebounds, and 5 assists. Man, 5 of 19 from the field and 1 of 5 from 3. He was trying to do everything on the court today, and nothing was falling for him. He's going to have one of these nights. Obviously, most players are going to have one of these cold nights from the field, but he's going to have a bright future. He really does. He's been a candidate for the most improved player, and it really shows, because this season he's been a demon. 21 points per game, 8 rebounds, and 9 assists. Those are some very great stats from Dejounte Murray, one of the better two-way guards in the league, and I think he's going to be the future for the Spurs. Just right now that the Spurs aren't really good enough to compete at a high level. So Keldon Johnson, 15 points, 5 rebounds, 4 assists, 6 of 20 from the field, and 0 of 5 from 3. I saw a stat line during the game where the first half he only scored 2 points on 0 of 7 shooting. And then the second half, he scored like 10 points, like majority of his points. So Keldon Johnson, he was on a streak of like 20-point games too before going into the play-in. So this is a really huge letdown. I mean, Keldon Johnson, he's one of the primary scorers on this team. And without him, it's going to be only Dejounte Murray and Jakob Poeltl shooting. So hopefully Dejounte Murray and Keldon Johnson can figure it out in the future. In the offseason, the Spurs could definitely look to get some more pieces because Joshua Primo, man, I mean, he is definitely not ready to play heavy minutes. He only played 10 minutes today. No stat line except for 2 rebounds and 2 assists. Devin Vassell played very well today, 23 points, 3 assists, and 2 rebounds. A very great role player for this team. And Jakob Poeltl finally 16 points and 9 rebounds with 1 assist and 2 steals with 1 block. So overall, the Spurs, they really do have a good future. I really think they're going to be a good team in the future come 2 to 3 years if they build around the right pieces. But as of right now, they definitely aren't ready. Joshua Primo definitely needs some more work. The bench definitely needs more work. You know, Josh Richardson, he's cool now. Lonnie Walker, also cool. But they really do need a good center off the bench because looking at it right now, I mean, Zach Collins, I don't think he's going to get it done. So if they can get maybe like, I wouldn't say Hassan Whiteside because that's kind of pushing it a little bit, but if they can get a good defensive-minded center off the bench, then I'd be all for it. So hopefully the Pelicans, they can win against the LA Clippers. That's going to be a very interesting game. So hopefully the Pelicans can win. Hopefully CJ McCollum and Brandon Ingram can keep up this high level of play, and hopefully they can get to the playoffs. So that's the video. I'm JDC, and more peace.